Hello and welcome. This is In the Studio, episode 64. I was doing some work today on this track. It's a Halloween-inspired track with some dark, eerie, atmospheric swirls and just an overall darker tone to it. And I'm almost ready to go into the arrangement phase, but not quite. I'm still building a few parts here, and one of those parts is a big, dark techno stab, or just a big, dark synth stab. And I thought I would invite you in the studio and show you how I would design that from scratch using Massive. So let's get right to it. But before we get to designing the sound, I'm going to show you a little preview of what we'll be working with. Most of the elements are muted in the mixer, so this is just kind of a stripped back little version here, but here we go. Okay, so basic, that's what we'll be working with for right now. So let's get to designing this sound. I already have a basic pattern laid out in the playlist here, pattern 18, and Massive is already pulled up in the channel rack and sent to channel 35 in the mixer. So what I'm going to do is send this to the piano roll, and we're just going to I'm going to lay down some basic notes. Just to get something started here, something to work with. So I'm just going to be super simple here, and I'm just going to paint this across for a few bars to give us something to work with here. Okay, that'll work. Let's pull up Massive. I'm going to go File, New Sound, just to make sure we're at its default patch, and it looks like it is. So for this sound, I'm going to use 3 saw waves. I'm going to enable oscillator 2 and oscillator 3. And I'm going to detune these second 2 and 3 against each other a little bit. So pitch that one up, pitch this one down a little bit. Okay. And then we are going to use a low pass filter here. So I'm going to turn down the resonance though, and for now. Let's see how that sounds. Okay, so what I want to do with this is actually control the cutoff of the filter with an envelope. In the past, I have shown you how to do more of a plucky sound where you kind of open and then close the filter really quick with an envelope. But in this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an envelope on this filter, but I'm going to use it to close it over time. So I'm going to turn this attack on the envelope all the way up here, and I'm also going to turn up the sustain. That'll work for right now. The attack on how fast you want that to envelope to close the filter, you can obviously adjust once you kind of have the sound that you want. And then so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use an envelope to modulate the filter cutoff a little bit, so we get a little bit of movement there. And then I'm also going to use the classic tube, and I'm going to turn down the dry wet for right now. I'm going to do a pretty hard drive on this and then just tickle in a little bit of the mix. Okay, and so I want this to be, I think that just adds a little extra grit there. So I'm going to leave that just the way it is. I think that'll work. And I want this to be like a big kind of long stab with a long tail. And so I want it to use a lot of reverb on this. So I'm just going to use, go to reverb here. I'm going to turn down the dry wet pretty low, but I'm going to turn the size up really far on this too. And there you go. That's the basics of, kind of like a big dark techno stab, big dark synth hit, whatever you want to call it. Um, and obviously there's a few more things you could do, maybe some third-party processing and stuff outside of Massive to kind of enhance that a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to show you the more sound design aspects of this. So that's the video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, leave me a question, and I'll see you really soon. Take care.